No honor indeed. The boys on the run, a tale of betrayal and revenge. The night was cloaked in darkness as the boys hurriedly made their escape. Their plans had gone awry, leaving James bleeding profusely in the backseat of Emory's mom's car. The sight of blood staining the black interior was a stark reminder of their failed robbery. James's life was slipping away, and Emory's self-centered nature took control of his thoughts. "We have to get rid of him," Emory suggested, his voice tinged with a callousness that shocked his companions. Casey and Martin exchanged uneasy glances, aware of the weight of their decision. James, once their friend, was now deemed disposable in Emory's eyes. With heavy hearts and begrudging agreement, they halted the car on an old dirt road, deep in the woods of a remote location, far removed from their everyday lives. The boys carried James, his body growing colder with each faltering step, about 300 feet into the heart of the desolate woods. 2 counties away from their homes, it seemed like the perfect spot to abandon their dying comrade, leaving no traces behind. Weeks turned into months, and the disappearance of Casey sent shockwaves through the community. Worried friends, family, and neighbors rallied together, frantically searching for any clue that might lead to his whereabouts. But their efforts were in vain, and whispers began to circulate, insinuating that Emory, the self-centered protagonist, should have met a similar fate. As the search for Casey intensified, tragedy struck again. Martin, the loyal friend who had stood beside Emory during the botched robbery, was found brutally stabbed to death in the back of Belly Bear Donut Shop, where he had diligently worked for the past 2 years. The small community was now consumed by grief, struggling to comprehend how such misfortune had befallen their once vibrant town. Emory, burdened by guilt and paranoia, believed that the drug dealer they had attempted to rob was seeking vengeance. Fear gripped him, leaving him in a perpetual state of anxiety. Sleep eluded him as his mind spun in a maddening whirlwind of impending doom. Every creak of the house and rustle of the wind sent shivers down his spine, triggering panic at the thought of an imminent attack. One fateful night, Emory awoke to the acrid scent of gas invading his nostrils. His bleary eyes widened in terror as he recognized the face that materialized before him. It was James, the very person they had callously abandoned in the woods. And he was wielding a menacing Louisville slugger in his hands. With a sudden burst of violence, James swung the bat repeatedly, mercilessly targeting Emory's fat legs. Each bone-crushing blow served as a painful reminder of the fate that had befallen their friends. Emory winced in agony, barely able to comprehend the horrors he had set in motion. "Consider yourself lucky you're not at the bottom of the lake like Casey," James hissed through clenched teeth, his voice laced with vindictive satisfaction. "Well, maybe not that lucky." Leaving Emory crumpled on the floor, James stepped outside, his heart filled with a twisted sense of justice. He struck a match and set ablaze a trail of gas leading straight into the kitchen. A deafening explosion tore through the night as the house became engulfed in flames. In that moment, Emory realized the price of his selfishness, the consequences of his actions. The flames roared, devouring everything in their path, leaving behind the ruins of a life that had been tainted by greed and betrayal. No honor, indeed, Emory's existence had been reduced to smoldering ashes, his world crumbling in the inferno that consumed his ill-gotten life. As the flames flickered and danced around him, he was left with nothing but the bitter taste of regret and a profound understanding of the darkness that had taken hold of his soul. The community, now mourning the loss of 2 innocent lives, stood in disbelief as the news of Emory's demise reached their ears. The whispers that once carried disdain for him now held a somber tone, realizing that the cycle of violence had claimed yet another victim. There was no triumph in the justice that had been served, only a profound sadness for the lives lost and the choices that had led them astray. Meanwhile, James retreated from the blazing wreckage, his mission fulfilled. The weight of vengeance had been lifted from his shoulders, replaced by a sense of twisted satisfaction. He disappeared into the night, a ghostly figure swallowed by the darkness, leaving behind a trail of destruction and shattered lives. For the community, the scars of these events ran deep. They served as a poignant reminder of the consequences that awaited those who strayed from the path of righteousness. In the aftermath, a collective reflection took hold, prompting a reevaluation of values and a commitment to unity. Out of the darkness, glimmers of hope emerged. The search for Casey had brought together a community fractured by suspicion and distrust. Now, it was their shared grief and determination that bound them. They resolved to prevent such tragedies from befalling their town again, to foster an environment where compassion prevailed over greed, and to instill a sense of belonging that would deter the rise of violence. The scars remained, etched not only on the physical landscape but also in the hearts of those left behind. Lessons learned from the pain and suffering became the catalyst for change. Casey and Martin became symbols of the innocence that had been lost, their memories immortalized in the collective commitment to build a brighter future. Over time, the community healed, embracing forgiveness and reconciliation. They rebuilt not only the physical structures that had been destroyed, but also the trust that had been shattered. Each member took responsibility for their role in the events that unfolded, vowing to prevent the allure of darkness from taking hold again. Emory's story became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the consequences that awaited those who placed their own desires above the well-being of others. The community carried the weight of their past mistakes, using it as fuel to forge a stronger, more compassionate future. And as the years passed, the scars of the past slowly faded. The memory of those dark days remained, etched into the collective consciousness, serving as a constant reminder of the price paid